So now they have Michelle Obama out here campaigning for Joe. What's up, guys? Marquita here from the Marquita Show podcast, a podcast where we talk about everything from politics to pop culture and everything in between. If you are not subscribed, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for post notifications so you get notified every single time that I post. So let's get into the video. Michelle Obama released this, what I call a PSA style video in support of Joe Biden. So what we're gonna do, as always, we're gonna watch the video. Now the whole video I think is like 24 minutes long. I'll link the full video down below so you can check it out. But what I did was chop it up into some clips to get an overall feel of the video. So we're gonna watch that. That's about 2 minutes, and then I'll come back and give you my reaction.
Let's be honest. Right now, our country is in chaos because of a president who isn't up to the job. This president's failure to take this pandemic seriously, from his constant downplaying of the importance of masks and social distancing, to his relentless pressure on schools to open without offering a clear plan or meaningful support to keep students and teachers safe. When wildfires rage out west, he says nothing for weeks. When Americans of all backgrounds peacefully protest racism and police violence, he disparages them, yet eggs on heavily armed militias. When our heroic young men and women answer the call and give their lives for our country, he calls them suckers and losers. 7 months later, he still doesn't have a plan for this virus. 7 months later, he still won't wear a mask consistently and encourage others to do the same, even when those simple actions could save countless lives. They're stoking fears about Black and brown Americans, lying about how minorities will destroy the suburbs, and they're pinning it all on what's been an overwhelmingly peaceful movement for racial solidarity. There will be far too many who will never see our humanity, who will project on us their own fears of retribution for centuries of injustice, and thus only see us as a threat to be restrained. Racism, fear, division. These are powerful weapons, and they can destroy this nation if we don't deal with them head on.
Okay, so you just watched that video clip, and I want to start by saying I think the reason for her speaking out was because they need to rally Black women to the polls. If you don't know, Michelle Obama is the epitome of Black girl magic in the Black community. She's looked at as Queen Black girl, head of the Black women. So they got her to speak out. Apparently they must be slipping in the polls amongst Black women. So they put her out. She's the face. She's going to rally the Black women troops and going to get them to the polls and get Joe Biden in office. First off, I knew she was going to do this. She was going to throw the pandemic out there and Trump's handling of the pandemic. Now, even though I cut it up in snippets, most of the video is just talking about dissing Trump. It really offers no plan for Joe Biden. It doesn't say what he's going to do to help the economy. None of that. It's basically another video bashing Trump, and they start with the biggest thing they have, and that's the idea that he mishandled the pandemic. Now, no one could foresee what was going to happen. So I really say he did the best that he could with what he had, the knowledge that we had on the virus. So when you say he didn't take it seriously, I think he took it very seriously. He ramped up testing. He made sure that communities had the supplies that they needed. She also talks about sending kids to school without having a plan. What he did, he delegated that to the governors of every state because each community needed an individual approach to going back to school. Some areas were hit harder than some. Instead of making this huge huge big government plan that everybody had to go by, he shrunk it by delegating that power to the governors, which I think was awesome. Because again, every community had different needs. So why put a whole blanket over a place when there are some areas that weren't affected that bad? So then she moves on to talk about the military. This clearly was a false statement. There's several people that have came out and said Trump did not call them suckers. There is no real evidence that he said it. There's no video, there's no transcript, and there's several people that have come out and said, no, he didn't say that, which I find odd that you would put a lie in a video, but hey, the left doesn't care. They put out lies all the time and they just run with it. But on the other hand, you have Joe Biden, where there's two videos from two different angles of him referring to military people as stupid bastards.
One, I married Jill. And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
But yet, you don't address that issue, but you call Trump out for an alleged statement that he made. She also harps on that he said minorities will harm the suburbs. That is not what he said. No, ma'am, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Don't try that. That's actually her making an assumption that he was talking about minorities. He said low income. She made the connection that low income means minority. So, Michelle, who's the racist now? We all know that in low income areas, they tend to not value the property as much. It tends to not be as clean, neat, and safe as most areas. So people tend to want to keep those people out of their communities because they bring their value down. Nobody wants to move out of a low income area just to have them follow them. No shade to anybody, because anybody can be low income, not necessarily black people or black and brown people for that matter. Moving on, she also talked about Black Lives Matter. That was a big one. And she reiterated several times that, oh, they were peaceful protests. They were just peacefully protesting. I'm sorry, but I don't know what news you were watching. Because last time I checked, they were burning and looting places. So I don't know what you're talking about, Michelle. They were not peaceful. There's one video of I don't know if she's a BLM representative, but she tells people to loot. She actually encourages people to loot. She says those are reparations for black people and it doesn't matter because these companies have insurance. She literally was promoting looting. So I don't know where you get that these were peaceful. We've seen people shot. We've seen people stabbed. We've seen buildings being burned down. So I don't know what media outlet that you're watching that shows that BLM is peaceful. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is the victim card. So she, as a black woman who doesn't like other people to speak for black women because they don't know her experience, proceeds to speak for white people and pretty much call all white people racist. No, ma'am. That is fear mongering. She's literally speaking for white people and speaking on how they feel towards black people. She's making a generalization. She's using emotion to rile people up. And I'm assuming to vote and not to incite violence, because the point of this video I would think would be to get out the vote and to, of course, get Orange Man out. Orange Man bad. He has to go. So I'm assuming that she's riling up these emotions inside of people to go vote. But you're spreading false narratives, ma'am. Now, they put her out here to rally black women, but just looking at this video from a black woman's perspective, I think she's like trying to play towards my emotion. She's trying to play towards my fear. But unfortunately, me as an educated voter, I know better. She's hoping that these are blind Democrats, that they're just willy-nilly voting. Oh, you just got to get Trump out of office. Yet you offer no real solutions. You talk about no policies that Joe wants to enact. All it is Orange Man bad. The whole video. Overall, I think it'll rile up the base. I think it'll move a few people in their direction. But anyway, guys, check out the full video. Comment down below what you thought of the video. And I'm about to get out of here. As always, guys, one vibe, one tribe. Deuces.